What's up guys, Ben Melican here for Mystery Tackle Box. You know, in today's video, I'm gonna let you in on a little bit of a secret rigging method. And this is a method that I've kept in my back pocket the last few years, and I know a ton of other anglers have as well, because it's a technique that's new. It's only been out for a couple years, and it absolutely slays the bass. What am I talking about? The power spinner. I know it looks a little bit goofy. Basically all it is a stickworm with a little tiny spinner blade that you put on the back of it. But I tell you what, this thing absolutely catches the fish. I'm gonna tell you how I like to rig it up. So there's two different ways I like to rig up this goofy looking spinner worm rig, and both have been extremely effective. You know, Mystery Tackle Box included three things in the box that I got that are absolutely key for this rig. First one is this Sticky's Wacky drop shot rig. Second one is the Karl Stash power spinner worm, which is exclusive to Mystery Tackle Box as well. And the third is the Biospawn Exo Stick. You know, the Exo Stick is a really cool stick bait. It has a bunch of different sections. It's a little bit different than your typical stick bait, and for that reason I think it gets a couple more bites than your typical stick worm. But the first way I like to rig this guy up is Wacky rigged. You know, Wacky rig works great with an exposed hook whenever you're fishing around pea gravel banks, boat docks, standing timber, stuff you're not going to get a lot of snags on. So whenever I'm fishing this bait on a Wacky rig, I'll be using a spinning rod. I use a spinning rod 100% of the time when I'm using a Wacky rig, because you're able to downsize the line and get a lot more natural for presentation. I like a 6'6" to 7 foot medium power spinning rod, 10 to 20 pound braid, and an 8 pound fluorocarbon leader to let that bait sink super naturally, usually about a 10-foot leader. Now the thing with this worm is it's very simple to fish. All I like to do is visualize an isolated target. If I see a dock, if I see a point, any type of shade line, that's an awesome place to throw this bait. And I very simply just cast it out, let it sink to the bottom, give it a couple twitches, let it sink again, twitch it a couple more times, and that's it. That's all you got to do. It's a very simple rig. I fish it the exact same way I do whenever I'm fishing just a regular Wacky rig stickworm. But you can go back through areas and get bites on this bait that you absolutely couldn't get on that Wacky rig stickworm, because so many people throw that. It's something a little bit different, and it absolutely gets a lot of bites. Now the second way I like to rig this bait is on a Texas rig. I'll whip out the Texas rig and make this a very weedless bait whenever I'm fishing around heavy cover of any type, whether that be a laydown, really nasty brush pile, grass, whatever it may be. Texas rigging this bait is absolutely key. Now you still get that same natural fall with the Texas rig as you do with the Wacky rig, but you don't have that exposed hook, so you can fish it through almost anything. And like I was saying, this is a great follow-up bait. If you're going through an area and you're flipping a jig, a beaver, whatever, to any isolated targets, this is a great bait. After you go through the second time around, you know there's still fish in that area to go back and get a couple more bites. Now, as you can imagine, if I'm fishing this on a Texas rig around a little bit heavier cover, I'll want to beef up my tackle a little bit too. So I like to throw it on a 7 foot or 7'3" medium heavy power bait caster and 12 or 15 pound fluorocarbon. I don't like to go all the way up to 20 or 25 pound fluoro, because you know this is a bait you want to have a nice natural fall. So I leave it at 12 or 15 pound. Once again, make that cast out to your isolated target, let that bait sink right next to it, work its magic with this little shimmying blade, and I've caught so many fish on this technique. You got to go out and try it. One last retrieve I want to talk about with this Texas rig is a very odd presentation, and that is simply casting this thing out and reeling it in. Now when I'll do that is in the spring, whenever there's fish around beds or they've just moved into super shallow areas. That's an awesome time to pull this guy out and just cast it out and slowly wind it back in. Once again, awesome follow-up bait. So if you've gone through an area with a spinner bait, chatter bait, you need something a little bit different to get a few more bites, this is the guy you want to go with right here. Yes, there it is on the power spinner worm. You know, whether you're fishing from a bank, a boat, any time of the year, you guys absolutely got to check out the power spinner worm. Go out to your local lake, rig it up those two different ways I just told you about, and you're going to catch a lot of fish like this. Thanks a ton for watching, guys. I'm out of here.